So, communicating your A&R story. All right. All right, you can see the screen. Okay, let's pretend we're starting now and I'll make up the lost time. Okay, so this is part of a series of webinars, and today we're going to look at LinkedIn basics. And hang in with me because at the end, I've got a really cool interactive session planned, and I'm going to show you how to do a lot of things on LinkedIn, like switch up your profile, add multimedia and articles, create a custom URL, start a post, things like that. Okay, so again, this is part of a series that's designed to help you with extension and delivery, because communicating our stories as researchers and educators is essential. And increasingly, this involves digital technologies. So we've got the CYS series from earlier this year. It's archived on YouTube, and they're documents. We're repeating all of them this fall. So we've got blogging basics, we've got Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and creating a communication strategy. We're also hosting social cafes the second Thursday of every month. And so that means we'll have one tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll do just about a half an hour and answer any questions you may have about social media, and also give you some writing tips. Okay, so the agenda really quickly is why use LinkedIn, LinkedIn basics and terms, some new features, some things that you need to do, and then a fun interactive session. Okay, so I'm going to skip over this really quickly, but the PowerPoint will be available and there will be a video of this presentation. But the main point of this is that technology is sticky. And because so many people are using it and we can use it for so many things, we start using it and it's really hard to stop using it. And it's also a leveler, and if we use it correctly, we can make it work for us and help us with our extension work. Okay, so what is LinkedIn? It is a really active social platform and social network. It's oriented to professionals. I like to think of it as Facebook for a professional audience. It's pretty astounding. The largest number of users in a country it's America. And I couldn't believe this, but this is a stat. 154 Americans have LinkedIn profiles. And it's not just for, or even primarily for, job searches anymore. It's not the old LinkedIn. And if you're comfortable with Facebook, you'll do well on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has invested a lot of money in the last few years in making its interface much more like Facebook. So it will feel more familiar if you're using it. It's one of the fastest growing platforms. 50% of Americans with college degrees use LinkedIn. And it's one of the few social platforms that actually represents men and women pretty equally, and all age groups to use it. But the greatest use and concentration is the cohort between 25 and 49. And 57% of LinkedIn use is on mobile. And so as I'm talking and going through these slides, if you've got Facebook on your iPhone, LinkedIn on your iPhone, pull it up. And then also you may want to pull LinkedIn up on your laptop for the interactive session. Okay, so why would you use LinkedIn? Well, again, most of us sort of maybe have a view of LinkedIn as being an online resume, and it is that, but it's actually, again, become a lot like Facebook and other social platforms as a way to receive and share real-time news on your feed. You can set up trending news that's customized to what you're interested in. It's easy to compose and send messages. It's also a messaging platform now. It's got a really beautiful publishing platform with some decent metrics and analytics. And it has groups, and it has interest groups and professional and affiliation groups, which means it's a really good place to find your intellectual and programmatic community. And you can grow your personal and your professional network, and it's free. Now, there is a premium package, and if you are going to invest some time in LinkedIn, what I encourage people to do is to do the premium package trial for 30 days and then to cancel it. And the premium package is about $30 a month, but you can do a lot of things. And so if you're going to sort of beef up your LinkedIn profile, I might suggest that you do the premium package on the trial basis, get all your stuff done, learn what the premium features are, and then cancel it if you don't want to pay the $30, because that's pretty expensive. Here's some other reasons to use LinkedIn. If you're an extension educator, it's a great place to announce your events. You can provide links to articles, publications, and more. You can share updates. You can share information about research. You can share presentations. You can share summaries of meetings. It's got a way to attach certain kinds of documents. And it's really a good place for that. It's a great place to request feedback and invite collaboration. If you are working in the field, you could use the mobile LinkedIn app to actually broadcast live. And from the desktop LinkedIn application, you can post video. And I really encourage people to share media like video and photos on LinkedIn, because if you share a video, you're likely to get 3 times the engagement. A photo will garner you 2 times the engagement of just a text post. But LinkedIn is a great place to educate. It's a great place to educate and connect with people. So I'll show you these when we go to the interactive section. But the home basically functions as your newsfeed. There's a profile area, which is about you, and it can be customized, and it can feature media and links. Use it for all it's worth and invest time in that section. There's also a messaging feature. So some of the newer LinkedIn features that are worth mentioning is there's now an active status. So you can see if people you're connected to are currently active on the site, which means you could start a conversation. If you're like me, I like to hide when I'm active. You can set up your trending topics. There is a relatively new smart replies in the message function, which uses artificial intelligence to sort of provide suggested replies like a lot of platforms do, like even Gmail, right? And I've started to use it more, and the more I use it, the better the replies get as the AI feature gets to know me better. Again, there's also this ability to load native video from your mobile device, like an Instagram story, but it can be pre-recorded or live. And it also has some video editing capacity. Okay, so questions to ask yourself before jumping into LinkedIn or any social platform would be, why am I doing this? Make sure that you have a goal. And it's appealing to think about being on every platform, but it's probably better to do one platform well or 2 platforms well rather than be on 5 different social platforms. Think about what you want to communicate and share and how much time you have to devote to this. Who is your network? Are you going to be focusing on developing a professional network or a personal network or more of a hybrid network? These are good questions to ask yourself. What I find with LinkedIn is I about a year ago, I took a good part of a weekend, and I went through the sections and I updated things, and I've updated periodically since then. But I find that if I'm on LinkedIn a couple of times a week for a limited amount of time, that I can still have a pretty robust page that feels fresh. So it doesn't necessarily require a lot of time, but it requires some time. So some tips on what you're going to do that are best practices would be to optimize your profile, and I'll show you some things. to be authentic, as on every social platform, be informative and add value. Listen and engage and share the work of others. So, here's some tips for a great profile and presence. Create a custom URL. And this means that you can have a custom link with your name that you can then drop into other media so that people can connect with you on LinkedIn. It could be in your email signature even, hyperlinked. Use a great photo. Rethink your headline. And I'll show you what I mean by this. Your profile is your resume. First person is better. Add multimedia and update your status on a regular basis to keep your profile fresh. So another plug I'm going to make for LinkedIn is it's a phenomenal publishing platform. If you're not blogging, but you maybe want to do some short updates or things like that, try using the publisher on LinkedIn. I'll show you how to do that. And if you're blogging on WordPress, there are actually some really good plugins like Social Media Auto Publish or the WordPress LinkedIn Auto Publish that will automatically publish your new post to LinkedIn so that when you've integrated this, that it's really easy to get content from your WordPress blog over to LinkedIn. Okay, so here's some resources. I've got a PowerPoint PDF, and it will be on the Learning and Development page by tomorrow, and I've got a bibliography there and a tip sheet. You can call, text, or email me. This is my cell phone. Write it down, 805-794-1665. You can email me with any questions. I can help you. We can set up an individual Zoom meeting, and if you get stuck or stymied or want ideas, I can make suggestions for you. I want to help you. You can tweet me. You can DM me. Here's my Twitter. You can also find me on LinkedIn and add me as a connection if you want to. Okay, so thank you. So here's what I'm going to do is I am going to go into the live LinkedIn session right now. And I'm hoping that everything's okay and that you can still hear me. Okay, hang on a second. I've got to close all these little things that got up as I was panicked and trying to get to this webinar with an internet that wasn't cooperating. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. And really quickly, I'm going to take 1 second and I am going to allow Pam Conrice to talk. And I'm going to unmute all of you. And I really want to thank you for being on today because I know that with the great California blackout that there are a lot of people that weren't going to be able to make it. And so, again, I really appreciate you being on. And jump in with questions now that we're at the interactive site because I've unmuted all of you. And feel free to jump in. And Pam will also sort of start moderating chat. This is going to be really fun. Okay, so this is the LinkedIn dashboard, right? And, you know, it's got a lot of advertisements on it, which is kind of annoying, but that is just the way it is. So the first thing, if you've got your LinkedIn on your laptop up, or write it down to do later, is go to me. Okay, so, and right now I'm on one of my premium 30-day trials, and I kind of do them almost consecutively. It's terrible. I take like a week off and then I go back onto the trial. So I talked earlier about a profile and how you have a headline. So this is my headline, and I've actually recently changed it. And in the past, my headline would have been my job title, but now I've changed it, and I'm trying to make it jazzier. But if you don't think it's jazzy enough, please text me suggestions, or drop them in chat because I am open to suggestions. So I'm a writer, editor, a digital comms strategist and educator working in higher education and beyond, currently UC and Shine Comms. Okay, so that's my headline. So I'm going to view my profile. I'll bring you back later on to have you look at the settings and the privacy so that you can, do that. So here I'm going to have you look at my view profile. So this is what I'm seeing. And again, I've got some ads and stuff like that. And so I've got here my headline. I've got my contact information. I've got a good photo. And I mean, I think it's a pretty good photo. And I encourage you to get a good headshot for this. So what I did for my background is I actually created something, and I'm getting ready to sort of change that up. But what I did was I put my Twitter handles in there as well. So, so you can see that if you clicked here, that would be how you'd edit it, right? And, but we can sort of check and roll down through. So you're seeing my profile in sort of editing mode. This is not what it would look like in the public mode that you'd be seeing. You wouldn't be invited to edit. So here's what I've got in my About section. And I've got some cleaning up to do here. So I have, your About section could be 4 or 5 paragraphs. It can be shorter. I'm trying to, in my About section, talk about, like a 30-year career in an abbreviated way, and then my work at A&R, and then also I'm a historian, and I have a whole separate body of professional work for that. So it could be better, and it might be more coherent if someone else were doing a profile, if they've had sort of like if they're a plant pathologist, for example. But use the space. I do have my Twitter handles and my various websites up here. This is the multimedia that I've loaded. So this multimedia is a link to a blog I write about communications. This multimedia piece is a link to a podcast that I did recently. This multimedia link right here that I'm hovering over is a link to my book. This right here is a link to the UC Food Observer page, and this is a link to a website that I do that focuses on communications. So this is private to me, and this is sort of information that you get more information if you're doing the premium trial. So here are information about my articles and my activities. So this would be sort of like on Facebook, your summary, right? And so I'm going to show you the articles that I've got up here. So I just did a book review. And by the way, go get this Joy of Search book. It will make you a better researcher like today. It's really fantastic. It's about how to use Google, Google Earth, Wikimedia, Wikipedia, stuff like that. And it's really wonderful. It's by a guy named Dan Russell, who basically led the team that created Google Search. He's one of their senior scientists, and I'm really glad that I know him. He's married to one of my friends, and so I found out about the book, and I got the book, and it's a great book. Okay, so this was the last post that I did. So here's a summary of my activity. Here's all the activity, and that's where, I congratulated my colleague who, Vikram, uses LinkedIn really well, by the way. And he did a little announcement about, he got a really great position in a professional organization, as a committee member and a secretary at the Northern California Evaluation Network. He posted it. That's the great kind of information and news you want to share with people. And so I congratulated him, right? Another person that I think uses it really well is Surendra Dara, and I'll show you his profile later. So here are the articles, here my post. Here, documents. And I don't usually share documents on here, but you can. So, okay, so we're going to go back. I've shown you the multimedia. There are places to load your experience and your education. I really encourage you to do that. Keep it updated. Put your experience here with UC. Make it more of a narrative rather than a job description. And in every section where you can, put in multimedia. So all of these are links to video or documents that have featured my work at UC A&R. Here's a link to a recent podcast I was interviewed for. So I've got all this stuff here. And again, here's a place to put your education. I put my volunteer experience because I think it's relevant. Some people don't, but I think it's relevant. So you want to do that. So I am going to show you how to do a couple of things right now, okay? So I am at my home. So I'm going to start a post, and I'm going to say, so I am thrilled to be, and this is just like a status update, like what you would do on Facebook, to be hosting a webinar with my at UC A&R colleagues on LinkedIn. We got off to a rough start, failed internet connection, but all is well. I love my job. This social platform is really awesome too. Okay, so then I could add a hashtag, right? And because I normally post about books and my latest blog post about creativity or communication, it's going to suggest those hashtags for me, right? So I'm just going to post it, and then I could also celebrate, a teammate, give kudos, something like that. So I want to celebrate Pam Conrice, who always has my back on these sort of things. So thank you, Pam, rah. So here's how you would write. And so, okay, so here I could add a photo, right? I could do a post, like if I'm doing my post, I could add a photo. And that could come from my desktop, right? It could come, if I were doing it mobile, from my phone. Here I could add video. Here I could attach a document, okay? And then, so there, you know how to do a basic post. Now, here's how you write an article on LinkedIn. Click on write an article. And basically, it will spoon feed you, and look at this. So it will prompt you to put in a photo. It's really, really a wonderful thing. It will tell you, put your headline here. It will tell you to write here. It prompts you to add images or a video for visual impact. And then if you click on that little thing, it'll let you do slides or links or a snippet or, video, anything that you want. And here's how you can hyperlink something. This is how you make like a great call out box. List, underline, all these wonderful things. Font, you can do layers like heading, subheadings, normal size. And then, it's beautiful. And so I'll go show you what, an article looks like. So then you can save it as a draft, and then you can publish it, right? And one of the great things about LinkedIn Publisher is that it not only goes on the feed of your first connections, but so say that I would have the potential, when I do a post, of right off the bat, even if I didn't put it on any other platform, my potential would be my connections, right? But it also goes to your second and third connections. It could appear on their feed as well. right? So the audience could be a lot larger actually than what you might think initially. And again, it is a super duper, really looks good. And
Rose,
so
is that feature only available in premium?
no, it's available to everyone. And I'm telling you, I want people to blog for the A&R site builder, right? That's where I want you to blog. But I also want you, if you're not blogging on the A&R site builder, start playing with this publisher. Or if you've got a WordPress site, get the widget and connect it, because this is a free feature and it is a really, really good publishing platform. That's just all I have to say about it. That it looks nice. I think it even looks better than Medium, which you know I think is pretty good. So I'm going to go into it and show you what it looks like. So I did, this was like a really cheesy picture. I just put the books on my kitchen table and took a picture. You could get a good photo from like Unsplash. And so here's what it looks like, right? So it'll plug automatically your little profile picture and your little headline right there. So it's been really good. And then, it will allow you to hyperlink. So I've got these hyperlinks that are opening in separate screens. And then here is where I made the little call out, right? But in here, I put in another picture to make it a little less boring. But I think, it looks pretty good. And then it says, published by. And so that's it's a good publisher, and it's super intuitive and easy to use. So here is I can edit the article. Here's the view stats. And by the way, when you publish it, it actually will pull up your connected social accounts and offer to make it easy for you to share on the social accounts by doing it for you right then. So if you're really into efficiency and integrating these kinds of posts across the platforms you're using, it's really easy to use. So here are the stats. So okay, so here are I posted it on another page that I do that focuses on communications, and from that post, that cross post, I don't know. So I got. Okay, so this is interesting. Do I know people at University of North Carolina School of Information and Library Science? I don't think I do. But 5 people from A&R looked at it. 3 people from Google looked at it. I have no idea what VACO binary semantics is. Here, it will give you information about the titles of the people, the geographic area of the view, and then I also cross-posted it on Facebook. So 16 people found it through the post on Facebook. And, so 54 views, it's been up a couple of days. It could be better, but I'm okay with that. So that's what the publishing platform looks like. So another thing okay, if you click on the work thing, you can visit more LinkedIn products, okay? And so LinkedIn Learning is super duper good. It's Lynda, now it's called LinkedIn Learning. They have really good stuff, and that's also one of the things that I do. They have free content for all sorts of topics, anything that you might think of related to your business and professional work, and also social media, things like that. They have free content, but you also can access some other extra content if you do the premium. So again, one of the reasons that I use the premium trial repeatedly is that I can access different things on LinkedIn Learning. So I may have a learning goal for that month where it's like, okay, I really want to learn a lot about this topic. I'm going to sign up for LinkedIn Premium and then go to Lynda or LinkedIn Learning to do that. but here are some more products, right? So the groups, by the way, is free. So you can use it to manage your groups. You can create a group. So these are the groups that I belong to: the Unfluencers, which is great, an organic network, sustainable food networks. I belong to a women's business, National Council on Public History, the premium career group. As soon as my premium trial ends, they'll kick me out. Food security, sustainable ag, organic, history, gardening, horticulture, a lot of stuff obviously related to my work at A&R. And so I would encourage you to join groups because, you learn more, you may grow your professional base, opportunity for posting. So that's all good stuff. So here's something that I promised I would show you. You can create a custom URL. And I think that just makes it look it makes your profile look finished. So here's what you do is you go to that sort of me, right? And it says right here, edit public profile and URL. And so you just edit it and you put in your custom profile. So my custom URL is Dr. Rose Hayden Smith. And so do it because it's really cool. It's empowering. It makes you feel like a super user on LinkedIn, okay? So another thing that I would encourage you to do is to look at all your settings and, look at your visibility. And, it's, I go back and forth because I'm actually like a super introvert. And so I'm like an extroverted introvert. And so this kind of stuff is really hard for me, but I'm kind of like, well, if I want people to read my work, I probably have to have my public profile on, right? And so I'm starting to get better. So I'm going to take a step and I'm just going to make my public profile, so that anyone in the public doing a LinkedIn search won't get a little gray face. They'll actually see my photo. But see, you can do things like you can show your headline, you can hide your headline, you can show and hide your education, your volunteer experience, your projects, your languages, your groups, things like that. And so, you have to make these decisions yourself about what you want to do. Now, how many of you, and feel free to either respond via chat or to weigh in because we're a small group today. How many of you have LinkedIn on your phone? Don't be shy. Tell me, how many of you have LinkedIn on your phone? Okay. Okay. Okay, so LinkedIn on your phone is really cool. Okay, so can you see my phone? Pam, can you see my phone?
Oh, yes.
Okay, you can see my phone. Okay, all right. So yeah, okay. So Rebecca's got it only on her desktop, which I totally get, right? I mean, there's a good argument to be made to not having all this stuff on your phone. And so Pam, okay, so some of you have it on your phone. Okay, so you have it on your phone. So I'm actually at my friend Laura Evans, who's one of my favorite people, and she lives in Sheffield. And so, okay, so here's what the mobile app looks like, right? And it's really easy to use. It looks good, and it doesn't have all the features. Of course, the messaging feature is really easy to get. And one of the things that's kind of annoying about the LinkedIn messaging function is that the more you start using LinkedIn, the more that you start getting kind of like advertisement, like uh, messaging, like you know, LinkedIn will send their people or their bots in with messages to you to try to get you to buy more services, things like that. But it is what it is, right? So here I could write a post, and what do you want to talk about? And here, look at, I could do the live video right there, or I could load a photo, or I could take a picture with my camera. So imagine if you're at a really cool extension activity, you could just film this video. You can record yourself doing something in the field, and it will go out to your LinkedIn network. And I think it's a really, really good feature. So I want to give you an opportunity to answer any questions that you may have about LinkedIn. Again, I apologize for the late start and the technical difficulty, but I want to make sure that you have a chance to answer questions, get any questions answered that you have.
Do you
Any
think
questions?
people should post stories that maybe they put in their newsletter?
Absolutely. And I think, see, Pam, I think that's a great question. And one of my things is that I won't always commit to reading a whole newsletter that someone sends me. But you know what? If there's one piece that's posted on LinkedIn, I'm likely to stop and take a look at that. And so I think, again, in terms of all of us struggle with, content to feed all these social platforms, think about what you already have and what you're posting on other platforms and how you could change it up. So yeah, you could certainly, put the link to your whole newsletter, but you could also go, gosh, I have 5 articles in my newsletter. I'm going to parcel these out once a week across 5 weeks and build up my following and stuff like that. So that was a great question.
How important are the hashtags?
So the hashtags are increasingly important. They're like any other social platform. And again, one of the things that I like about LinkedIn is that it will actually suggest hashtags for you based on what you're posting. So what hashtag should we search right now, Pam?
Agriculture.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be a big one, but let's do it. Okay, so this might be one that you might want to follow. So Pacific Business News, that's like I think a Ventura pub. Maybe it's everywhere. Maybe there's more than one. But let's see. I see I'm clicking on it already. Oh no, okay, so it's obviously not my Pacific Business News. The Hawaii Agriculture Conference. Let's go. So look at that. So right there was right away, there was a conference that we might want to attend. Here's a report of sort of like an extension activity. Let's see. Oh, here, now this is interesting. So here is a news piece from Don York, who's the ag director at a Fresno area radio station. And look at this. Fresno County, once again, the #1 ag county in the nation. So that's kind of relevant for us, right? Yeah, so they're agriculture, and you could follow that hashtag, by the way, and then you'd get notifications. So you can follow any of these hashtags. So I'm going to show you Surendra Dara, who's one of the people on LinkedIn who is first in my heart. Okay, I think he's got a great profile picture, and look at that background picture. I mean, that's just like beautiful. And one of the things that I love is, you have a chance to endorse people And so I will endorse people. It will also show you people that you know in mutual connections. And here's what Surendra has. Look at this, is really a good about section. He summarizes, I've got nearly 25 years of experience at research institutes, universities, and in the ag industry. He talks about, really briefly, his international work. He's got his specialties in sort of almost like a keyword format, which is really good. And then he's got his professional societies and offices. This is a really good about section, I think. And then he is really active. He posts all sorts of articles and shares stuff about events and stuff like that. And so go look at Surendra's profile. He's what I would call kind of like a super user. And then let's also take a look at the UC A&R page. We've got a career page, and then we've also got our sort of regular page. And look at this. We have a good page. Now, one of the other things too, if you want to build your professional network, is that it will identify all the A&R employees that permitted themselves to be identified on LinkedIn, so that if you wanted to build your professional network, you could go see what other A&R people were on LinkedIn and then connect with them, right? So here are an A&R. We've posted this wonderful video of Maria. We've got this great information about the Cal Ag issue and stuff like that. And so be sure to go and follow the UC A&R page. And then there's also a link here to visit the website. So do you have any questions? Okay, so no questions. Okay, so no questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to see on the LinkedIn platform before we conclude for today? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I want to thank you very much for being here today. And I want to thank you for your patience with the late start. And I hope you have a great day. Consider jumping in for tomorrow for the social cafe at 11:30. It'll only be about half an hour. And then there is a blogging webinar, I think it's 2 weeks from today, and hope that you'll consider being in on that. You are welcome for telling you about the blogs. It's exciting, right? Because again, it's another way to sort of integrate stuff that you may already be doing. And I wish you good luck. And again, please do not hesitate to call or text me if you want to noodle some of the LinkedIn stuff, and then if you decide in the next few weeks or a month or whatever that you want to jump in more and you want to set up like a brief Zoom meeting, we can spend a half an hour or so and get you going and enhanced and anything that you want to do with the platform. Okay? And thank you very, very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Pam, thanks. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.